Look at that gorgeous stadium. We're back. Football season has returned. Tailgate 19, week 1. Browns Cowboys 4:25 kick right there on the lakefront at the freshly rebranded Huntington Bank Stadium. Welcome on into Tailgate 19. I'm Mark Schwab, Eric Metcalf, Josh Cribbs with you for a week 1 bonanza. We are at the Winking Lizard on St. Clair downtown. Browns fans and Cowboys fans already out and about because these people like to pregame, and who can blame them because we are Americans and we celebrate football season. Gentlemen, good to have you back for another year. We've made it. We've survived the offseason. It is week 1. Get your fantasy lineup set. Get your other, if you're into the short-term financial markets, get that thing established when it comes to the spread. How are you guys feeling about the year?
I feel great. I mean, I've been looking over this roster. I've been looking at the schedule all year, and I'm thinking they can do some big things. This team stayed together. They were able to keep this team together, and that's what I like most about it. And they got better. And so if we can get a healthy Deshaun out there, we can do some things with the infusion of Ken Dorsey on the offense. I think this team has a lot of upside.
Yes, one word for me is attrition. If they can keep this team healthy, we can do wondrous things. Again, you hear Eric says, on paper, this is the roster for us to go the distance. Yep. On paper, we see the pieces to the puzzle. On paper, we walked past this game today. So I'm excited about the outlook of this football team, how they were able to keep these important pieces together so we can have our best foot, in front of us week 1 like we're here today.
Obviously, they did a lot last year and did not have good health, right? The revolving door at quarterback, the problems with the offensive line, and they still made the playoffs. It was a disappointing finish in Houston. It feels like Deshaun Watson is the central figure, and everyone wants to know, is this the year we get Houston Deshaun Watson instead of Cleveland Deshaun Watson? Why should folks believe this is the year he turns the corner?
Well, he has a lot to prove. Not just to everyone else, all the doubters. As a competitor, that's what we do as NFL football players. We prove people wrong. Just the nature of us being in that position, we prove people wrong, so this wouldn't be no different. However, I'm sure he's looking at, what our fan base feels. I'm sure he feels that pressure, and I know he wants to do good for the locker room. He wants to play good for the locker room, and I'm sure, believes he's the guy to take us to the next level.
I don't necessarily believe that we need Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans. Okay. I think we need Deshaun to be maybe 80% of that. And if he does that and secure with the ball and just leads this team in efficient drives, I think we can be better than we were last year because we still have the defense in place that can stop a lot of teams.
When we say that, so when we say, he doesn't need to be, I get that perspective, but our outlook is no longer playoffs. Our outlook is no longer just limping to the postseason or a good record. As it relates to our fan base, our fandom, and our team and our roster right now, we should be thinking AFC Championship, no less.
And right. And when he comes in, he's always there's gonna be games that he's gonna have to win throwing the ball, running the ball. So at times we need that Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans.
Right.
But through the course of the year, I think if he just plays good, steady football and secures the ball, we'll still be all right.
And that will be the help for that would be coaching.
Yes.
We have 2-time Coach of the Year recipient in Kevin Stefanski, who is charged with putting Deshaun Watson in these great positions so that if need be, his athletic ability can come forth. If need be, he can hand it off to a committee. If need be, he has several proven, veteran, talented guys who can catch the football for him.
You talked about expectations, AFC Championship. Browns fans hear this and think, wait, whoa, hold on. This is a battered fan base. We all know that. But, yes, you assemble this type of roster. You pay that kind of money to the quarterback. You do the things this team has done, the awards they racked up last year. Miles, everything. This unit has the roster to get to a Super Bowl. If Browns fans saw this roster on another team, they would think that way. They just don't because it's the Browns.
This team was built to win right now, and I think they're very capable of doing it. They have to do it in between the white lines. They spent the money. They went and got players. They've added to the team. I feel they'll be good.
This is the Avengers. When we say they put a team together,
yep,
they put a roster together, they are the Avengers. They are the Avengers that is going to help pull our city out, at least on paper. You got Thanos. You got these characters at left tackle, who should be at left tackle, but he's going to be at right
tackle. Yeah.
But you have the pieces to win right now.
Yep.
And that's what's most important.
All right, well, it's Avengers Assemble. I don't know who's Captain America. It might be Miles. It might be Watson. We'll see. We're off and running from the Winking Lizard on St. Clair. Week 1 is here. Let's go. There's our Charter Spectrum vote of the week. Who is the better owner? We'll talk about this later on in the show.
You're watching Serpentini Tailgate 19.
We'll throw you a curveball. Team that doesn't really have that kind of experience, but I think could do it. It's the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
It's the Cleveland Browns because let's consider their defense, first of all, right? Because the defense is going to continue to play in January. Best third down, best fourth down defense in the NFL last year, led by Jim Schwartz. They have the Defensive Player of the Year and Myles Garrett. They have depth there, and they have continuity. I like that about them.
Now, it's Bench Strength, brought to you by Wayside Furniture.
Wayside bench strength back on the tailgate. We are getting right into the depth. DeJuan Jones, there's still some drama. Wills is out at left tackle. Sounds like Conklin, if he goes, will probably be out there at left, which means you go to Big Thanos, back to the Avengers reference, right tackle. What a luxury to have this kid who came in as a mid-round pick a year ago.
Exactly. O-State, 3-year start at Ohio State. Came in. We got a bunch of Ohio State represented on our football team, but he's the guy that came in right away, and his first preseason was tremendous, was handling guys, and was already showing glimpses that he's a definite starter, which prompted a lot of people to say, hey, why not move him to left tackle? Why not, fill a void or a shaken piece to the puzzle at left tackle? But he's found a home on the right side of the football. However, Wills is down.
Yep.
It might have made sense to kind of develop him as a, blindside guy, but maybe he's comfortable at right.
In my perfect world, this is how I wanted it to be. I wanted Jack Conklin, who's played left before, be out there Dewan Jones on the right. I feel that gives us our best opportunity to protect. And so if Jack is able to get back to where he was when he first played a while ago, I think this line will be intact.
What do you guys make of Wills? Had the good rookie season, performance tailed off, and now it's the injuries. And it feels like after the excitement of that first year, we've never really seen that guy. How confident are you about him as a player?
So it's not confidence in his playing ability. It's confidence in him staying on the field. So, he can't help getting injured. That's just football. It's not if you're going to get injured, it's when. And, that has plagued his ability to be 100%, to garner that continuity because he's been down a lot. His ability is there nonetheless. His ability when he's healthy, when he's at full go, is there. It's just the inconsistency because he's always coming off an injury, and that's unfortunate.
I want to talk, change gears here real quick. I want to talk, it's not really uniform, it's like helmet related. The Guardian caps, those are the things. Some people hear that, they think the baseball team, they just happen to bring these padded helmets in at the same time the Indians became the Guardians. Those things.
Right.
Players are now allowed to wear them during the game. They do put a cover on it, so it resembles your regular NFL helmet. Some players will wear them. Some will say absolutely not. They look ridiculous. Would you two have worn these to help prevent concussions?
Absolutely not. I don't think it would look good in my pictures. and so when I think about it, it's one of those things. I get it's for protection. I understand it. It just looks weird being running around like the great kazoo out there. Nobody wants a big head. You just want to go out there and me, I would think it would make me feel heavy, even
Right.
though it's not heavy.
Players want to look good.
You
You look good, you play good. And I forewent the Zenith helmet because I didn't like the way it looked when I wore it the one season. So I'm like, I don't like how I look in this, even though it was rated higher and safer as a helmet. So if I knew what I knew now, I would wear it. But back then, I wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have done
No.
it. All right. They wouldn't have worn it. Some guys are. Some will not. We are not done. We are actually just getting started here on the Serpentini Chevy Tailgate. Let's get a look at the Charter Spectrum poll as we head on out for another segment. Who is the better NFL owner, Jerry Jones or Jimmy Haslam? We'll talk about it later in the program. Stick around.
How much extra motivation do you have knowing that you're going against Dallas?
Just a little bit. You know, it's always special going against your home team. Definitely gonna have some family up there, somewhere in blue, somewhere in orange or brown. But that kind of stuff, man, it's amazing.
The Big Run Report, sponsored by Dunkin'.
Myles Garrett, the native Texan, thinking this one's a little extra juicy against the Dallas Cowboys. The run game going to be talked about here because we've got two teams that, obviously the Browns don't have Nick Chubb for the first part of the season, so it's going to be Jerome Ford. The Cowboys have Ezekiel Elliott, big in name, but perhaps name only. How are you two viewing these two backs heading into the game?
I feel better about Jerome Ford being the running back for the Browns because I'm more comfortable in what the Browns line can do. Regardless of the injuries, I think they are able to put guys out there who can still run but effectively and do a lot of things for that offense. So Ezekiel and the Dallas Cowboys, their offense is running back by committee. I don't know if anybody really gives you that juice that they really need in order to sustain that offense, because when you look at it from the Cleveland Browns defensive standpoint, it's about stopping the pass, because that's what they do. They can throw the ball around the yard, but can they run the ball? And I don't think they'll be able to do it.
Yeah, if they can force this Cowboys offense to be one-dimensional, take one of those off the chessboard, even forcing them to keep throwing the ball, because beyond CeeDee Lamb, being locked down by one of the trio, who else out there, on that team can do it for them? And that running back by committee that they have, I think is very unproven, which can be a good thing for them because it's not a lot of film on them. So they're young guys behind Ezekiel Elliott, which may cause some problems because we don't know who they are or how they go. But again, they're going against the top-ranked defense in the country. So this team, they're going to have trouble running the ball versus our defensive front.
Rico Dowdle is their next best running back. He might be better than Zeke at this point. He just hasn't had much of a chance. Let's talk coaches. Kevin Stefanski, the reigning coach of the year. He has now won that award 2 times. Mike McCarthy, a Super Bowl winner from his days in Green Bay. Certainly McCarthy, I think it's fair to say he's on a little bit of a hot seat this year, right?
I would say so, and he gets a lot of flack. Again, remember, I'm from Washington, D.C., so when we're talking about the Cowboys, that's like saying the Steelers.
Yes.
So, a lot of people, they hate McCarthy. They don't think he's the guy for them. Even, Cowboys fans are not high on him right now. So, Coach Stefanski, I think this will be an opportunity for him to separate himself. And, it may can be a boring game of us just marching the ball down the football field and beating them coaching-wise.
When you look at these coaches, especially from the Cowboys standpoint, we know going into the season the Cowboys are always going to win the Super Bowl. They're always going to win the Super Bowl. So when you have Mike McCarthy out there and they're not winning these Super Bowls, fans want him out of there. They're putting him on the hot seat. He got rid of his coordinator last year and decided to call plays because he felt like that was going to be better for the team. He's doing things to try to keep his job. The team just hasn't been productive enough to go out there and win games or even get to the NFC Championship. And so I think that's been a setback for him, whereas Coach Stefanski has a roster that is built to win now, and he's been given time to get this roster together and implement the offense and defense that he wanted in order to win games. And so I think he's been better.
And what a breath of fresh air that is, right? That, we can face a team like the Cowboys and their coaching staff is on the hot seat. And for us not to have that issue or have that problem.
All right, we are still moving along here. We are about 5 hours away from kickoff at Huntington Bank Field. It's not a stadium anymore. It's a field.
There you go.
Cleveland19.com, place to go to vote on our Spectrum vote. It is who is the better owner, Jerry Jones, Jimmy Haslam, the Charter Spectrum vote. We'll talk this over at the end of the show. Jones kind of running away with this. I got to admit, I'm a little surprised. Stick around.
But I got to see Deshaun Watson stay in the game, and play more than one game that's good, and the other ones that, come on, we talked about this last year. What was he doing when he was healthy?
Right.
He was playing out of control. And we talked about it earlier. I mean, it was really unbelievable. It was like he was out there and he was mad at the world. He was going to try to beat everybody up on the defensive side, which when you try to do that as a quarterback, you lose.
It's the Pigskin Poll, brought to you by Hyundai.
Phil Simms on Deshaun Watson, and this is tied to Watson. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the show. It goes to expectations. How many games will the Browns win this season? This poll was up on Cleveland19.com. You can see 8 or less, 9 to 10, 11 or more. You guys feel 11 or more? You feeling confident?
I'm for sure 11 or more. I'm for sure. I got 11-6 to be exact. But this, like we said earlier, this team is built to win. They have the roster. I think all these guys are more mature, know what it takes to win a playoff game, and even possibly the division. So I think they go out there and do it because they understand what this means. That the defense, I think, will travel this year. They didn't travel well last year, and that was a setback while the offense wasn't playing well. And so I think we get a Deshaun Watson who's healthy.
It's funny you said they weren't playing well, and we still went 11-6.
Right.
So that's why I feel like the record is not necessarily attached to Deshaun Watson. And that's why I'm heavy on coaching, because whoever the quarterback is, they've been there and done that. I was actually high on Huntley being on this roster because of us being primed to do it right now in case there wasn't a Deshaun Watson or something tragically happened to Jameis Winston. We are primed, and I don't think it's tied to Deshaun Watson. I think our ceiling is tied to him. Playoffs is a no-brainer. However, look what we did with what we had last year, and we still win 11-6.
Yeah, that's a good point. The ceiling is tied to Watson. The floor should not be because of what they did last year with guys ahead. Let's see what the folks have said here. Browns fans usually a little skeptical. This is right. Tell me this doesn't fit with this town.
Yes. Right.
8 or sub 500. Remember, it's 8-8 now. If you win 8, you're 8-9. You got a losing record because they added the game.
Well, you prepare for the worst. You hope for the best.
That's if I say this, then
exactly. They don't want to.
Then I'm not sad if we don't win.
Prepare for the worst, hoping for the best.
All right. So we got the poll running on Cleveland19.com about the owners rather. Jerry Jones. As former players, would you want him owning the team you played for?
Metcalf, go.
Yes, I would. Now, I tell you this because we see, as an owner and a GM, he has brought in great players, Pro Bowl players, Hall of Fame players. He won the Super Bowl a long time ago, but still, there has always been a roster in place that had the opportunity to win or be in the hunt for the Super Bowl. So, yes, I would want him that. Sometimes you want him to stay out of it a little bit, but at the same time, he's always put a good team together. Thus far, he just hasn't done well in picking a coach.
Yeah.
He got the players. He just hasn't done picked the coach who's been perfect for his team.
Exactly. So, no, because he said it in your statement, he hasn't won in a long time. And I think since I was a kid, since they had Aikman in the board.
You're right.
And Emmitt Smith and the guys. That was an all-star team, by the way. That was, if you look at all Madden, all of that, those guys are on that team. Irving, Dion. They had
They're a bunch of old men now.
Exactly. So, and he also said he hasn't picked the right coach. He shouldn't be picking the coach. You pay guys a lot of money, like we have in AB, to pick a coach. You can't. It's like you can't wear two hats in some cases.
Yep.
You can weigh in.
There are a lot of guys. A lot of owners who have not won a Super Bowl.
But we got an Ivy Leaguer picking this roster, and it gives us a better chance. And that's why you have separation, owner as opposed to general manager.
All right, I put me down for the Haslams. I think they've done a better job recently. They have figured things out, and the Browns are going in the right direction. But that's the poll right now, Cleveland19.com, the Charter Spectrum poll. Who's the better owner, Jerry Jones, Jimmy Haslam? Are back after this on the Tailgate.
You're watching Serpentini Tailgate 19.
if you're asking my opinion personally, I personally think that we are like paying these guys to be athletes as opposed to gladiators. So I'd prefer like the dome solution. I'd prefer to be indoors. I think that's better for the team. And I also think being in the Midwest, with the elements and everything, it's better for our fans as well. It creates a better fan experience late in the year when we're making those playoff pushes. But I do want to emphasize, any solution's a good solution. We're happy whether it's a renovation, a build, whatever, because it just means that our home environment is that much more of a home field advantage here in Cleveland.
All right, let's follow the money presented by Cardinal Credit Union, building off what Barry is saying there. He prefers a dome. Dome brings a lot of cash. You could go for the Super Bowl. You can go for the Final Four. The only two events we cannot chase in Cleveland. Of course, that brings in, it's not 32 below in the cold anymore. How do you guys feel about a dome in Cleveland?
How Eric feels, but I feel that is our ownership and team playing chess with the city of Cleveland. I think every time they speak so highly of a dome, the renderings look so good, and I think it's a business move. I think they just put a knight, a bishop. They went ahead and made a chess move. And they're making it a reality so that the city of Cleveland will come stronger with the bid. What say you, Eric?
When I think about it, what Schwab said, I get the fact that you want the events. You want the Super Bowl. You want the Final Four.
Right.
It gives you the opportunity. But like you said, there's two events a year. But they're big events, though. So for me, being in Cleveland and having played here, I like the fact that an outdoor stadium is home field advantage. If you're playing the Miami Dolphins in the playoffs, you want them to have to come here and be outside and have to struggle against that. And so that's why I like an outdoor stadium.
And the only rebuttal I have to that is, I've been on those teams where we have practice outside and we playing against that team that come up from the warm weather and we still get beat bad. Because we all got sniffles from practicing outside and we have colds. I think it's one game, one day, and that home field advantage to me is not really a home field advantage.
All right, it is a home field advantage for the fans when it comes to the pocketbook. Also, look at the cost here to attend a game. They do these studies of the average family of four to attend an NFL game. The Browns, 27th in the league. They are cheap. I mean, compared to the Lions, that's not New York City. I understand the Raiders being up there. I'm surprised to see it's that low, and this is another feather in the cap of the Haslams. The ownership contributes to that. They've done a great job keeping that down.
Wow.
You got, that's cheap.
Wow.
Was that a game?
That's cheap.
Yes, that's an average cost. They factor in parking and 4 dogs and 2 sodas and 2 beers.
So to go to a Lions game, that's in Detroit?
That's in Detroit, man.
Wow.
I don't know how much of that is for personal security to walk around with you when you're in Detroit. I don't know.
You got to budget that out.
It must be a great experience in that stadium.
You got to budget that out. Who is attending those games? Is it regular people?
No idea.
They're spending the mortgage money on that. $1,600 a game for the family? It's like between Disney World and the Lions game.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to the Mouse. I'm sorry.
I understand Vegas for sure.
That I get.
I understand
Philly,
Vegas,
East Coast, everything runs more.
Right.
I kind of get that.
Get that.
I was surprised at that. By the way, some people might say, Schwab, why do you talk about Cleveland with the Super Bowl? Jacksonville hosted a Super Bowl. Detroit hosted a Super Bowl. Cleveland could get one. I'm pretty sure they could get one if they got a dome, and then get it done. We'll get there. All right, moving along here. Our Charter Spectrum poll, ClevelandIT.com. Vote on it. Better owner. Here come the Haslams. Stick around.
This has been Follow the Money, brought to you by Cardinal Credit Union.
I think that it can be an explosive play. Yeah, and I think that. Yeah, I think here, and here's the thing. It ultimately comes down to you can have all these ideas for schemes and all these things you want to run, but at the end of the day, it's how well can you execute the blocking? Because like that's still the biggest part in having a productive return is if you don't block well, you're probably not going to have good production.
Now, the Kia Quick Picks, brought to you by Kia.
All right, new kickoff rule in the NFL. Looks weird. All the guys down on one side of the field, the kicker on the one end. They're doing this to help prevent injuries. You guys returned a lot of kicks. You return a lot of kicks for a touchdown. Do you like the rule?
You know, I just think it's a double-edged sword. So let me tell you this: the old style of kicking, if it was the old style of kicking and you take a snapshot, this is where they would end up if you take that snapshot when the returner catches the ball. They'll be about where they start at right now. So it just looks weird because the problem is they eliminate the onside kick, the surprise onside, which is the aspect of the game that a lot of good kickers took advantage of, and it made the return team have to stay at home. So you remove that for the sake of safety, but these are where the guys would end up if you take a snapshot when the returner catches the ball. They would end up about where they are now. So, but it also puts them in the kickoff coverage team in a disadvantage where those safeties can't pull out as far as they can, and I think there should be more returns.
I particularly like it, especially if they're going to. I would like that they would enforce a bigger penalty on the kickoff team for kicking in the end zone.
Yes.
Because now teams are electing to just kick it in the end zone and take the 30.
Yep.
Whereas if you give a bigger penalty, then they're more likely to kick it in that zone and give a returner like myself and Josh an opportunity. So now as the returner, I really love it because you make a guy or two miss and you can run. And so that's what I thought it would look like, but I see teams are more willing to take that 30-yard. They take the ball 30 yards.
Yeah, if it was at the 35 for kicking in the end zone, oh yeah, teams will be kicking it in that zone all day long. 35 is just two first downs away from a field goal.
Right.
We talked about guardian caps. This is the next thing for player safety. They do this. They pick a play. Say this is the biggest play in the NFL where the injuries occur. Well, then they get rid of it. Well, then they have a next play. Now that's the highest, and then they get rid of that, and then they'll find another one. And at what point are we just getting rid of football? Now, I'm not saying that on this rule, but I mean we've seen this now over and over several times. They just keep getting rid of things.
I've been asking myself this question for a long time. I think they're about out of rules that they can change to keep it football as we know it. Right?
I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting for
the flags. You're waiting for flags?
No, because if we want it to be real football,
right,
there's not many more rules they can change.
I'm waiting for the year they say we're returning to the old style of kickoff, the old style of the NFL, where the rules are back. You can have a wedge. And I guarantee you the eyes of the football world will be like, oh, my gosh, it's going back to the old school way of football. We're going to watch that.
You're going to be waiting a long time, bro. You're going to be waiting a long time.
Okay,
you don't have to wait long. We are back in a flash. We're at the Winking Lizard on St. Clair. Come on down. Join us a little under 5 hours to kick off Browns and Cowboys. This is the Tailgate on 19.
You're watching Serpentini Tailgate 19.
We are back at the Winking Lizard on St. Clair, and they have brought out some chow, and the Winking Lizard always does a great job. We're going to start over there, the bourbon barrel wings. If there's bourbon in it, it is almost impossible to screw up a dish. They didn't. It is fantastic. They're wings. They're bourbon. They're delicious. The Bowman Bacon Cheeseburger, I used to just absolutely crush these. I would come to a Winking Lizard in Lakewood on NFL Sunday, crush the Bowman Burger, and then the fries are simply a vehicle for their outstanding barbecue sauce. I mean, if you could put their barbecue sauce on a tire, and that tire would immediately be at least a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. And that's why they have it all over the St. Louis Ribs over here as well. They do a great job at the Winking Lizard. We are here till 12 o'clock, but you can come on down. People have been downtown enjoying, adult activities and beverages and things like that because it's NFL Sunday. It's outstanding. Come on down there. They're open for business here at the Winking Lizard.
Me grabbing that ribs right there about to be an adult activity.
Literally fall off
across
the bone right here. All right, so let's go around the AFC. Take a look around some of the big games. Our 1 o'clock game is the Bengals and Patriots. And the Bengals in all orange. All right, you guys wore orange. You guys both played. Would you enjoy an orange uniform? That's my one to watch right there.
Of course, that's your
orange
one to
helmet,
watch.
jersey, pants. Go.
I would not.
No?
No, I don't see anything good about that. It doesn't look good to me. It just like a big old pumpkin. Right? I don't want to look like that. Once again, aesthetically, I like to look good for the pictures. I don't think I can make that look good.
No?
Josh? I think you could. I think if they mixed it up a little bit and I had the white helmets or something like that, it need a little contrast.
It's all orange.
Just a little contrast.
Orange.
I would make it look good.
You're Josh Cribbs.
I think we could make it look good, man. I think it would look good.
Josh Cribbs. I'm an orange guy. Orange is my favorite color, so I love it. Inject it. Give me more. We got what other games here jump out to you guys? Anything else here?
Well, I'm interested in see that Houston Indy game. I want to see how C.J. Stroud plays against how he makes a comeback, or does he have that momentum like he had last season going into this season? Because if we look at our playoff picture, it'll be one of the guys again from that AFC South picture.
I'm interested in the Vegas Charger game. You got Jim Harbaugh coming in. You got Aaron Pierce coaching in Vegas. It's going to be different, a new infusion in that division. So, I don't think they'll unseat the Chiefs, but I still think that it's going to be a good game.
All right, which of the Dallas Cowboys concerns you the most today? Offense, defense? Parsons sometimes dominates this conversation, but Lamb's fantastic. Prescott's really good.
Yeah, I would say Prescott. They have to be able to score points. So him being, that leader on that football team, being able to fit the ball in and possibly dissect our defense, which I don't think he will do, that's the guy who I want to put pressure on or worried about having some success or having a really good game against this good defense.
And my guy is because of your guy would be CeeDee Lamb. Because he is the guy in that offense that they're always trying to get the ball. He makes the big plays. He might have 20 targets in a game. They're going to give him reverses and things like that. So we know when he's on that field, you have to be aware of where he is because there's always a chance that he's going to get the ball, and they're trying to make a big play with him.
But our defense, they know that.
Everybody knew that.
We have a trio. So I'm expecting them to play really good this game.
Let me ask you.
Everybody has known that, but no one has stopped it.
Lamb just got a big contract. When you get that big contract, first time you step on the field, is it now I'm going to show you why I was worth that money? Is it more relaxing to play? What's that like?
Well, I haven't received a big contract like some of these guys up here.
Right. Well, I haven't received anything like that.
I know y'all didn't get that type of money. But
I played in leather helmets. But
yes, under Holmgren came?
Mike Holmgren.
Mike Holmgren
came, yes.
When he came, I did receive, a bigger contract, and I did want to, go out there and prove I'm worth every bit of this and more. So expect some pep in his step. He feel like, he earned that. But it also, again, like I keep saying, he's playing the trio.
He's going to play the trio. All right, we are going to step away. The tailgate continues here on 19 at the Winking Lizard on St. Clair. We're back in a flash.
I have, in my life, played option quarterback so many times and wait until the last leaf on the tree. And if you want to picture an option, pure option quarterback going out to the sideline, I have run that ball and kept it and not hand it off to the back, not pitch it back, not throw it. And I have run that thing all the way out to the sideline before I made the decision. We're trying to make our mind up what to do. Does that sound like Mahomes to you? A little bit? Okay.
It might be a while before these guys make them pay again. Here's the injury report.
All right, here's our injury report. Some of this discussed already with the linemen. Questionable for Conklin. Out. Stevens Jr., Wills, Chubb, of course, not going to play. We hope to get him back by week 5, 6. We'll see. How optimistic are you guys about Chubb this year, by the way?
You know what? I just seen him. And we was together yesterday, and we took some pictures for Dude Wipes. And he looks good. I'm like, dang, Chubb. I was like, oh, my God. He looks like he's been working out. He's ready. He looks ready to go. And I'm like, he's looking at him, actually putting eyes on him makes me optimistic about his return.
All right, good. Concussions. So these are, we kind of talked about this a little bit with the Guardian cap, but there was a new report out this week on which positions are most getting concussed. And you would have thought it'd be like offensive line where they're banging into each other. Nah. Wide receiver 1, cornerback 2. You guys played some wide receiver in the NFL. Matt, you played running back receiver, and I understand was a shutdown corner in high school. That's a tremendous story. Are you guys surprised by this?
I would say no. You know, wide receivers, cornerbacks, they get hit a lot, hitting each other, the cornerbacks. For one, cornerbacks coming up and making tackles on running backs, coming up, and wide receivers going across the middle, and then both of them having the jump ball, and then falling back, on their head or hitting the ground, getting that whiplash effect. So both of them all, running back and forth, up and down the field for long distances. That is, cognizant of concussions.
I see that right on par. I mean, like Josh said, jump balls. Guys are in position to be out of balance and fall and hit the ground. The corners are running up, like you said, making tackles. They're forcing on the linemen and things like that. They're putting their head down. So these guys are susceptible to being
If you look at guys
concussed.
like Denzel Ward,
right.
He comes up and makes hit on any running back has football. A lot of time with success, screen plays versus other receivers. So you got guys at the cornerback position that's active like a Denzel Ward. You can see why he sometimes gets injured quite a bit, being smaller but having to take down people twice his size.
We were talking about this in the break. Matt, you had a great story. Shutdown corner in high school.
Shutdown corner.
Tell this statistic.
Shutdown corner. 7 passes thrown my way, 5 touchdowns. The other way.
Think about that. Where'd you go to high school?
In Virginia.
In Virginia. They play pretty good ball in Virginia.
Pretty good ball.
Shutdown corner.
Yeah.
They threw 7 passes his way the entire senior year.
Yep.
He picked 5 and housed all of them.
5 pick sixes.
Goodness. And they didn't want you at defense in Texas?
It's just like a punt return.
Well, that kind of is.
Right? You catch the ball, it's punt return there.
And also, we got to go back to look at that footage on VHS and to see if the level of difficulty. I want to see who he was playing.
Super 8.
Oh, okay. I want to see who he was playing. He said we got to bring out the 3mm. We got to go to a dark room with the 3mm camera.
Right.
All right, so I want to conduct a little social experiment here. I need some help from the folks, all right? We got a lot of Browns fans here. We got a lot of Cowboys fans here. All right. Here's what I need, guys. Browns fans, I need you to stay quiet for a second. I need all the Cowboys fans to start yelling and screaming right now. All right. I need all the Cowboys fans that are actually from the state of Texas to start yelling and screaming right now. All right. That's actually more than I expected. Usually all the Cowboys fans that go home to Northeast Ohio get ready for the Yankee game and preview the Lakers season. That's how this goes.
You got
we got some Texans.
Noise.
Texas is my home away from home. My wife's from there. It's a great town. Cowboys fans travel well. These folks did a great job. All right. That's the fit for today. The week 1 threads. You guys always say look good, play good. You love that one, huh? You like the new white face mask back, by the way?
I do. That's what we wore.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've always wanted to see. I didn't like the gray. I didn't like the brown. It just didn't look clean to me. So I'm with it.
I just want them to win. I don't care what you put on. Go out there and win, baby. That's all.
But don't they have to look good to do it?
Yeah, they can look good. That's somebody else's department.
Let the Bengals wear all that orange.
I didn't go to Kent State under a fashion degree. I went to play football.
All right, let's take a look at our poll results. The Haslam's a rally here. Who is the better owner, Jimmy Haslam, Jerry Jones? I like the Haslams. Obviously a tumultuous start, but they have figured it out. They are out of the way. They have built this thing up, and it just runs now.
Yes, like it should. They put the pieces to the puzzle. Andrew Berry bringing him back to the Browns after the Ken Dorsey era, not Ken Dorsey, but Dorsey era. And it's been tremendous for this football team, and the way that the roster looks right now is attributed to Andrew Berry and the moves that Jim and D. Haslam has made.
Yeah, right now the Haslam have built a team that could actually win and compete for a Super Bowl. So they've done a great job in that. Jerry Jones, like you said earlier, pretty much stagnant. They have a good team, but they haven't got over the hump.
All right, guys, we are off and running. Good to have you back for another year.
Glad to be back.
I want to say thanks to the Winking Lizard on St. Clair for hosting us. Week 1 tailgate in the books. Browns, Cowboys, 4:25 here on CBS. We have the Bengals, Patriots, so some AFC North action. That's at 1 o'clock. We're going to go to the network here in a little bit for the NFL Today. They always do such a great job. It is so awesome to have football season back. Huntington Bank Field. I called it a stadium earlier. I'm still working out the kinks,
there
right?
You go.
It is a field. It will be lit today. Let's go